Hello, I'm Dr. Alisa Whyte, #1 mindset disruptor, international best-selling author, global workforce and business strategist, the CEO of Fulfillment Empowerment Network USA, humanitarian, philanthropist, and I get to serve as peace ambassador to many organizations around the world. I am also recently appointed as Royal Prime Minister for the Numi Numindu Kingdom right here in the USA. I get to do some amazing things in the world. And yes, I said I get to, because it's an honor and a privilege to serve and to live my God-given purpose. But today, I am just absolutely thrilled and grateful that Miss Pamela Fleming has put together an amazing platform, this summit. Can women have it all? Or can we have it all but? I get to share my thoughts and my view with her today. And I know that it's going to give you some challenge to think a little bit further on whether you really want it all, or what does wanting it all really mean. So I'm looking forward to this wonderful conversation with you, Miss Fleming, and I am so glad we get to share. I want to hear and see your comments, and if you have questions about any of the things that I said, feel free to reach out to the organizers of this event, make contact with me directly. Hey, it's the conversation and we all can learn from each other. Let's do this. Everyone wants to know, right? Can I have it all? Do I believe I can have it all? Yes, I do. I believe I can have it all. But the question is not only about me, right? Can women truly have it all? My thought on that is, first of all, have you determined what all really means? And I ask a lot of women, when you think about what you want out of life, is it truly authentically what you want out of life? Or is it an idea and concepts and opinions and what society or your family or some belief system from childhood that you've adapted that says what all really is? And so for me, when I thought about having it all, as this question was posed to me in many circumstances, as a matter of fact, a lot of my male and female colleagues and counterparts, they seem to think that I have it all. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, I have it all except for, and I have those caveats. So I remember when I actually really and truly believed that I could have it all. And when I say, what does having it all mean? I really had to ask myself that question, because guess what? For me, that has changed over time, right? So I was a young girl, very intelligent, and I got all my education things knocked out. And I was leading from a very early age in organizations, in church. I started my own business at age 17. Yes, that's why I'm so wildly passionate about working with business leaders and entrepreneurs all over the globe, because boy, do I have a lot of expertise, knowledge, and professional training in that field. But here's the deal. When I thought about having it all, I had already started so early of creating a lifestyle and a work ethic that would be the catalyst for who I am today, right? So having it all for me when I was younger meant having an education, having my own home, my own car, and impacting and serving in the community, and really just blazing the trail. And then finally meeting the man of my dreams and marrying him, and we create more impact and have more wealth. And we have 2 beautiful children at least, and then we adopt a whole bunch more. And then that would be me, because I'll still be the woman boss, and I was going to be everything they told my mom that she couldn't be, which is the businesswoman and the mother and the wife and all of it. So I wanted all. I wanted to be a wife. I wanted to be career driven, impact, known for impact that I make. And I guess I did have the dream for a global impact, and I wanted to be all of the things. And well, I kind of managed it for a long time, and then I wanted to have children and I couldn't. So life, actually, my terminology up until that point was having it all meant all those things. And then one of the things, I didn't do anything. It just didn't happen. And so I went on the journey of infertility treatment and It was a tough journey. Finally achieved pregnancy, and then I miscarried the twins. And so that would then be the catalyst for a whole lot of sadness and anguish and confusion in my life and in our marriage, that we ended up, separating and further on divorcing. Now, my having it all concept, of course, is going downhill pretty fast, because we had the home, the cars, the money, and we're just trying to get the kids. Didn't work out, and then we end up losing the marriage. So here we are. I found myself in my late 30s having to pivot and really ask myself, what does having it all mean? And then I even want it. I found, and later this year I'm releasing a book, and I wouldn't give you the title yet because we're keeping it quiet, but in that book I start to write about going back to something I talk a lot about, my true values and core beliefs, and are they truly mine? So if, first of all, we don't know what our own value system and what our true beliefs are and what our purpose is, and determining that based on the God-given right to determine that for ourselves, and we're just building all around what other people think, want, and think we should be, then having it all becomes even more unattainable, right? Because someone's always sitting and adding new things to the conversation of what all means, particularly for us. And so all had to change for me. And so I took myself, with all vulnerability and honesty, I was lost and I was confused because I had built up everything to really have it all. The career was there. The smarts was there. I mean, you name it, everything was there, but the children, and then all that just kind of went. Even the home and all that went in part and portion of divorce. We have to split it. We can't keep it, right? We split the assets. So everything starts going sort of downhill. And so the question was, for myself, was, who am I now without him, without those dreams being present? And that caused a lot of conversation and conflict within myself. But there were times I felt like I wanted to give up. I wanted to die, because I had worked so hard up until that point from a very early age to build up all the things I said I wanted. I'd made the right choices. I did not do crazy, wild teenage stuff. I kept focused, and I built up so much into what I was calling it all at the time. And then it wasn't there. What did I get to do since I was breathing? I was like, why am I even alive? I turned into a space where I just became grateful first of, well, I'm still alive. I don't know for sure why, but I guess I'm going to have to find out. And so the questions I had to ask, I shifted from asking, why did this happen? Why were these things happening to a good person who made good choices? I researched and understood karmic death, and you name it. I came up with a whole bunch of reasons. I was looking for answers, but I had to stop in the fact that no. I get to be me in this era. I don't have to co-conversate and co-manage and understand with anyone. I got married at age 22, very young for most, but I was pretty solid. It doesn't matter culturally, whatever age, but the fact of the matter is, I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't ready, because what does that mean? What I could tell you, I did not know my true self, and I did not understand clearly what my purpose was. I understood my purpose based on what most people thought it was. And while I was a very confident young woman and I knew what I wanted and I went out and got it, and I did not play the fool for almost, keywords, almost anyone, I was definitely going to the song and dance of what I was expected to be. I held on to things and people and relationships and jobs and situations and a certain kind of drive in a certain direction, because I was building all that on what someone else taught. And so When I ask you, what does all really mean for you? I ask you to think about, is that in comparison to your passion and your purpose and what you created for? Do you even know what that is? Or is all for you what society has created it to be? Because they're going to change that here in a couple months, right? I mean, I say a couple months loosely, but with the metaverse coming, are we going to go out and kick corporate America or not? Are we going to sit on the couch inside of a little thing on our face and lead from there? See, people's opinion, I've learned throughout my separation and divorce, that people's opinion changes just like the weather, and they have a right. But when you are depending on other people's opinions, ideas to formulate your value and your worth and what having it all means, you end up in trouble, kind of like what I did. And so the question, when you say, can we have it all? As a woman, I say no. And we should not want it all, because we weren't put on this earth to walk it solo. We weren't put on this earth to do things alone. Everything about life that has been accomplished was always done and accomplished with a group of people. When we think about women's rights, it was a body of women. When we think about human rights, it was a body of humans that came up with it. And even a body of humans that came up with the women's right. Everything, independence, it was a group of people. And when we think of the first most magical union that God has put on the face of the earth, is that with a man and a woman. So no, as a woman, I don't want it all, and you shouldn't either, because you weren't created to be all things to all people. It's not possible. You can't be father and mother to your children, and you absolutely cannot even have a child without having a sperm. Whether you choose to get it donated, or you have a husband, a boyfriend, or just someone who's a donor, whatever you call, you're not even going to have kids without having someone involved in the situation that you choose. So we can't have it all, and we should not want it all. We should want us. We should value ourselves so much and know our purpose and know our strengths, and also where we need to grow, and know where we don't have any expertise at all, and encourage and invite people to be a part of our journey. So what we were put here on earth for, we are the catalyst for that in our lives. So for me, having it all has become me having full confidence and peace of mind no matter what's happening around me. Me knowing my worth and my value as a person in every situation, in every room, in every conversation. Me being empowered to differentiate that someone else's issue is their issue, and while I may be concerned, I will not become consumed with it, feeling the need to fix them or fix it, but love and support them as much within my capability while putting the mask on my face first. Having it all has become, for me, getting up today and doing my very best, number one, for my body, mind, and soul, and then taking from that place, giving and sharing my expertise, my gifts, my talents, my voice, my opinions, my ideas, my love, my silence to whomever I get to come in contact with. And I say I get to. I sit here today and I feel very much that I have it all. Yet there's so many dreams and goals that I have not lived or even scratched the surface of getting on the path to. See, I don't feel like I have it all because of the things that I've done or accomplished, or because of the work I get to do. Even though those are parts of it, I have it all because first time in my life for over about 5 or so years, I've actually had me. I've actually been becoming a better version of myself. I've actually been loving myself and appreciating myself at the exact size that I am, with the exact lack of all the things that I don't have. I am just so content and at peace. I am having it all in this phase of my life because I have learned that looking to my past causes stress and fear and doubt, and looking to my future too much for anything causes me anxiety. But when I live in the present, I am so abundant and filled with joy and peace and so many wonderful people and a boatload of positive experiences and gifts of being able to be in a room, be on this call with you in this conversation at this summit today. When I sit in the now, the power of now, and I'm really getting to enjoy that, I can feel the essence of having it all. So my question is to you, what is having it all mean for you? And is that something that you have defined based on other people's opinion, or is it you? And when you say, can you have it all? I say, you don't want to have it all, because many women have chased and found that they had it all, but they had no one around. They didn't have a significant other to share the moments of all the wonderful things they've accomplished. They missed out on their fertility window. And so when I look and think about having it all in the context of what the world describes it to be, I think of women who are CEOs for companies like Uber and all these companies, more and more women. I think about, some of the women who are global leaders like Miss Kamala Harris and Mrs. Michelle Obama. And she talks about how the best part of her life has been being a wife and a mother to her husband, former President Barack Obama, and her daughters, Michelle and Sasha and Malia. And she talks about how she knew that she had to put her career on pause and focus on being his wife and their mother for a while so that they could become the first family. Does that mean she didn't have it all for that time or even now? My question is, she did. She chose what all looked like for her. So for me, the answer still wraps up in and having it all looks differently at different times. There was a time when I was ready to step out of corporate America and just step into being a mother to those twins that I have and a wife to my husband. And I was going to be absolutely fine with that. And I didn't know what age I wanted them to be. I thought maybe I'd give them a year of me being a full stay-at-home mom and then bring their great aunts and cousins from overseas to watch them in months at a time or whatever that looked like. But what I've learned about having it all is having the right people around me, choosing environments and circumstances that are going to challenge me to grow, that is going to help me fulfill why I'm on the earth, knowing that even the purpose that's within me cannot be up to me. And so I recruit the right people on my team and I rely on their expertise. And so having them and having the dream built is part of me having it all. And what that looks like now, it could look like 10 people now, but then in a year it's 1,000. It could look like the USA and Ghana, Nigeria now, but in not a year, it's Dubai, it's Kenya, it's wherever, Saudi Arabia, I don't know. But having it all is always with you because we already have it all. You see, trying to get it all is when we start to reach outside ourselves. And no, I'm not talking about the comfort zones. I'm talking about when you start to trade the most important, most valuable asset you have, which is yourself, your peace, your value, and your worth, to get something the world says you have to get. And so I go back to the question, can you have it all? You probably shouldn't want it, because you'll end up getting a lot of things that a lot of people said you should have, but still not have all that you need for your growth, your development, your peace, your happiness, and your ultimate abundance. So what makes me get out of bed in the morning? Oh my goodness, that is a wonderful question. Every day I get up out of bed to have the most unbelievable time of my life. And why? Because this is the only day and the only time I have fulfilled. I get up every day really and truly to see transformation happening. And of course, I tell everyone I want world peace. And of course, I want to see women living from a place of peace and a place of purpose and true self-worth and authenticity. And then I want to see our families and our communities really living in a sustainable type of lifestyle. When I talk about wanting world peace, I can't think about having world peace without helping another person find peace with themselves, because if you have these little pockets and lights, which we all are, filling out spaces in the world, then we can actually impact the world. I can't do it by myself, right? So I get up out of my bed every day to create change and transformation. That's why I get up out of bed. The question about, do I have a relationship with myself? Well, that is exactly. So I found that the relationship with myself has to be the first one. Once I got divorced, it was, people talk about finding themselves again. I said I was not lost. I just needed to get back on the road to me. And that I did. And what I found was there were several parts of me. There's the young girl, the little girl, the teenage girl, the young woman that's passionate. There's just so many different parts of myself that I was not connecting to and with and nurturing and understanding how all those parts of myself and my journey functions in my present life. And the only way I could do that is going back and revisiting and creating a peaceful relationship with those parts of myself and honoring the journey that I had been up until that point. And so I continue to build and create the most positive, loving, peaceful, gentle, and sometimes butt-kicking relationship with myself, because no one can, number one, love me and replace the amount of love I must have and give to myself. No one or nothing, meaning a job or a career advancement, will not bring fulfillment and love for me that I must give to myself. The validity and giving validity to who I am in the world is going to come from me first. And so I have to first have a sound relationship with myself. And then when I step out and I interact with anyone, no matter if it's a romantic, business, familiar, friendship, or else type relationship, then I get to teach those individuals from that place of empowerment, from that place of connection with myself, how they are to be in relationship with me. And so, what do I tell myself when I look in the mirror? Do people really want to know? Oh my gosh. Well, a lot of the work I've done started in the mirror, and I love the mirror because I encourage all of us women, really anyone who under the sound of my voice, really you should do a lot of mirror work. And I say mirror work because it is a thing. And it started off for me with the mirror work some years ago. And so when I speak about mirror work, you can Google it and see what it is and make it your own. But there's times I do mirror work, but I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, you are so freaking beautiful. And I'm telling myself that when the hair is everywhere. No, I don't have makeup on or none of that. And I still have little bits of fats, pockets of fats in places I don't want them. I'm working in it though, but I still think I'm so beautiful. And when I look in the mirror and I'm reminding myself that I'm beautiful, again, I said reminding myself because I already know. I'm not just talking about what I look like. No, not just that. It's about all the wonderful, beautiful things about who I have become. It's about all the wonderful, beautiful things that I get to bring into the room when I'm present. It's about the fact that I have overcome so many incredible obstacles, just like most of us listening, or all of us listening. And I'm still standing, and I'm still loving life, and I'm still excited about what the future holds for me. And so when I look in the mirror, I also tell myself all the wonderful things that I'm working on becoming. I already call myself those things and speak that I am those things. See, what comes after I am is always going to be one of the most important self-fulfilling prophecies you ever speak over your own life. And so I do go through a list of I am for the things that I have already owned and been in full operation with, and also the things I'm working on and the things that I just learned that I should be. See, when I think about having it all, or whatever you believe about having it all, but when I think about having all the things and all the accomplishments and experiences that I want, and I think about having it all, I think about, who do I have to become? What kind of person am I And what kind of person do I need to become to be the person that achieves said goal? See, because the relationship and having it all is really about the goals. The woman, the wife, the mother, which is basically career, motherhood, and being a wife, right? Those three things. It's really about balance that we're getting into this have it all conversation. And so the question, whatever your goals are, it's not impossible to achieve them. Why would you even think so? So if having it all for you is your goals, which is what it means for me, who do I need to become? So I start to look in the mirror and call myself those things already. And I'm not going to tell y'all all, but stay in touch with me. You'll see. So I just rubbish mirror time. And it's not to admire my beautiful body and my curvy waist and lips. It's not the new lipstick. It's all of it plus. When Michelle Obama said, "Don't let great be the enemy of good," is because I believe for me, as a woman in my own way, I've had to learn that concept. And for me, that concept is particularly the part where I say I am recovering being an overachiever. And you're like, well, why do you want to recover from that? Well, because wanting to achieve greatness instantly or every single time, I set these bars that were outside of what being great. I'm not saying not to be great, because that's what I shoot for every day. But I had to look at what was really good and what was needed at the time and how I was showing up. And was I giving everything I can? Was I being strategic? Was I recruiting the right people? Was I delegating? Was I sharing responsibility? Did I make it about me or did I make it about the team? Did I try to make things as simple as possible, but make it still very impactful? And was I measuring myself against comparing what other people have done, and maybe also comparing myself to a future version of myself, and I'm not there yet? And now, because I didn't get the results I wanted right now, it's like, oh my gosh, I failed. Now everyone around me is fulfilled, satisfied, and sharing and enjoying the fruit of what I've invested, but I'm saying, it should have been a size 8 though. By now I should have had 2 kids though. I should have been married by now, right? I should have. You see how that's comparison to something else, but not looking at in gratitude for what I have. When I think about great getting in the way of being of good, as according to Michelle, I also think of me always looking for peace, joy, happiness. Like, I'm going to be happy when I'll be really happy when I start making 6 figures, or I'll be really happy when I finally met the right man for me. No, because that is great, wonderful, that is literally great, but what's good right now, what's good enough is everything you have here. And you can't know how great what you have now is if you're always future focused on something else, or comparing yourself to someone, or comparing yourself to a particular experience that you have in your head, so you miss out on the experiences you're having now. So I believe, like, as women, that we can allow great to get in the way of good because we want the biggest things, and not understanding that what we have right now, the good we have now, is the great of this moment, and honor it for what it is. Meaning, if today I am in all the roles, I don't care what. This is why we talk about having it all, because women literally do it all. So what are you talking about? We do it all, but we're not having it all because many of us are doing it all and we're discontent, or we're not happy because we should have been a greater mother. We should have been a better employee. We should have been a better daughter today. And so you can't be all things to all men. I say this all to all people all the time. And so you have to sit here and be comfortable in the fact that, you know what, today I sucked at the mommy thing. I sucked at being a mother to a teenage daughter. But you know what? I'll get up and try again tomorrow. But I was good. I mean, today all I could make sure is everybody at home had food and that they were safe. And today at work, I crushed it. Like, I made sure that pitch deck was on point and I made a kick-ass presentation. And because of that, our company is going to gain 5-10 more investors, whatever the case be. And that's your good for today. That's your actual freaking great for today. and so the fact that your family just got fed, that's all you can do. That's what you got today. And so I've had to let what I'm able to do be enough. And a lot of times it was not who it was enough for. It's when it's not enough for you, it has the biggest impact on you and what you do next. So don't let great be in the way of good at all. Don't let it be the enemy of it, because greatness is who you are. So no matter what you do, keep growing, keep evolving, and honor your essence and your greatness in everything, because you deserve it. And no one else is going to know unless you live it and you be it. So I want to say thank you so much, Thamala, for putting together this summit. The questions has been brilliant. And I pray that our audiences are able to benefit from something that I had to say. In closing, I just want to remind you all that everything about you is, first of all, up to you. And you are it all. All of the things that you have dreamed of, want to accomplish, it is within you. So don't you go about trading your peace, your joy, to have something that, after all, you've just missed out on the other things. I ask you to embrace your journey up until this point. Celebrate you and your accomplishments, because tomorrow is not necessarily promised. And if you're putting off being happy, if you're putting off having a good old time until you get your PhD, until you make 6 figures, you're missing out on life. And tomorrow, again, as I said, is not promised. I want to remind you that, first of all, become who you want people to see you as for yourself. And they will recognize you without you trying to convince them, because you have become it, you embody it, and you are it. And I say, do you want it all anyway? And where did that come from? Is it all that you truly want, or is what all that everyone thinks you should have? Just remember that you are enough, and that everything begins with a thought. How is your mindset? Love, light, peace, and blessings. I'm Dr. Alisa Whyte, and I look to see you on the several platforms that I'm a part of. And I want you to go ahead and share this free summit with another woman that you know needs the information that myself and all the wonderful women on this panel has taken their time out to deliver to you. I'll see you later. Bye for now.